ahead.
Awesome. So as mentioned, the mindset does revolve around positive emotions, engagement, and positive relationships. Also, you want to keep in mind to devote time to yourself and activities that make you feel happy and engaged. Meaning is really important. It allows us to have a sense of purpose. Okay. And during this time, we are aware that procrastination and motivation may decrease as things persist. However, we want to have the mindset to embrace these new challenges. Okay. So, all of these are just wanting to become a better version of ourselves that leads to resiliency. So, the growth mindset and the fixed mindset are two different ways that someone can think. Now, I'm not saying one that has a fixed mindset will not succeed as to one that has a growth mindset, but it can weigh itself out. So while you're working on exploring yourself and your resiliency and your skills, you can definitely lean and move towards a growth mindset. And as you see at the bottom, despite the hurdles I've had faced, I know that my mind is my greatest strength. And that's out of this slide, we want you to take in and embrace that you have the ability to think and have the mindset that you will succeed, and you will motivate and be determined to what have you, whether that be finding a job, helping your family, passing your classes in your personal as well as your professional life. These are ways that we promote growth within our mind. Miss T, the next slide.
Mm-hmm.
So, how to strengthen your resiliency skills, okay? One, continue to move towards a growth mindset, which we talked about in the previous slide. Two, surround yourself with resilient people. So we talked about what resilient meant. So those are the individuals that you would want to surround yourself with to provide you and embrace you with that energy. Three, create goals that motivate you. And four, reflect. So our mindset, as mentioned, can be the greatest strength. Okay. And with that being said, you want to embrace that. And by doing that, you lean towards the growth mindset. When opening and learning towards growth, you no longer see challenges as problems, but as opportunities. For instance, we've transitioned to online learning. Many of us may have thought of this being a challenge, but now this leads to opportunities. You're able to be in different places at once. You can be in your class, you can instantly log into a webinar. Things are tangible for you more than they were before. Okay. When you operate in this specific framework, you find yourself being more capable and confident, leading to greater resiliency. Okay. And so this includes being aware of your thoughts, your word choices, and your actions. All right. Being consistent throughout a greater success. So again, you want to look at this as an opportunity. Yes, there were challenges, but when you start thinking that challenges are opportunities, you're leaning towards resiliency. When we say surround yourself with resilient people, we all know that people in our life tend to be more negative than positive at times, right? So when faced with a challenge, they usually may complain. However, when you surround yourself with people that are positive, engaging, and embodying what is going on, you pick up that energy. And I'm sure Miss T can interject, you know, energy really fills the room and the space that you are in. Okay. And a lot of individuals feed off that energy. When you walk into a classroom, when you walk into a session, hello, everyone. How are you? How are you feeling? Having that positive, sound really relays a positive energy and leaning towards that. Right, Misty?
Agreed. Thank you, Sarah. That's something that's very important, scholars, as you guys already know. Whenever you come in to see me, whether it's here or in person on Zoom or in our office, you know that it's so important that I'm always trying to always motivate you all when we come into a session or in regards to greeting you. And it's so vital, right? Vital meaning important to always understand, as Sarah explained, is that how you look at things as a new opportunity, right? Understanding that, yes, positive energy and positive affirmations. Positive affirmations, as Sarah just showed you in the prior slide in regards to hurdles, understanding that this is only currently and it doesn't mean forever, right? So this is something, pandemics, traumatic experiences, your life story, whether you're battling with anxiety, battling with depression, battling with different things. These are things that will build up your resiliency, building up who you are, right? Building up to the person that you are growing into. So this is something that's very important. And during this time, you should be constantly looking at the fact about how you want to go ahead and process what is currently occurring in your lives. All right. At this moment in time, yes, everything is paused from us going outside, but remember that this is a time of reflection. This is a time to process. And if that has been hard for you in the past, well, this webinar today is going to definitely help you to really link into that and tap into that. Thank you,
Definitely.
Sarah.
And also, when we think about creating goals, resiliency comes within that. Okay. When we are determined to accomplish something, when we were little and your goal may have been to ride a bike, you fell, you got up, you started slow, and you made progress. And eventually you started to get and gain that confidence. And this is the same way as when we set goals and you connect with them and you plan how you're going to overcome those setbacks. Yes, COVID-19 has caused setbacks for many individuals, but you want to continue to set yourself with goals that you will accomplish. And this way, you already know what you need to do to accomplish your goals and build on that resiliency. And to reflect back what Ms. T was saying about reflecting, being self-aware is a powerful trait to manifest.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When you reflect on situations, you are able to recognize your accomplishments so far, as well as your traditional opportunities that are existing as growing as scholars and future doctors, lawyers, professors, and so forth. Many students that are graduating this spring 2020, we want you to reflect on your accomplishments so far. Even though there is not an in-person graduation, your accomplishments are still there. Those goals that you completed are checked off in front of you. And we want you to acknowledge that, okay? And that builds on resiliency and how far that you have come. Miss T, the next slide.
Yes, and I just want to add to that. Also, please keep in mind, keep a journal with you all, scholars. Keep a journal with you. That's something that I always try to mention to you all. And that's something that I also practice on a daily basis. Journaling. It's so important to have that. And that's a tool to also help you in strengthening your resiliency skills.
Yes, periodic reflection is really valuable, especially during this time.
Yes.
So now we lead into self-compassion. So being kind to yourself when faced with challenges, adversity, or discomfort of an unknown future. Okay. We are in an uncertain time, and this is new to everyone across every board, across every country. And we want you all to know that it's important to have compassion for you, your thoughts, your feelings, okay? How you feel is how you feel, but have compassion towards yourself, okay? This is questioning worth. The first step in practicing self compassion is to acknowledge and honor your thoughts and feelings. Think about how you show others, a close friend or family member, kindness, and extend that to yourself. Okay. Remember, you're not alone during this time. We're all here. One of the main reasons why we wanted to provide this webinar um, as soon as possible was because we want to let you know that you are all with us and you're not alone. But you also need to practice the self compassion within yourself. Again, we're all in this together. Um, Dealing with frustrations and challenges is part of being human, and it's not going to go away. But again, when we acknowledge challenges as opportunities, when we channel frustration into um, positive thoughts and affirmations, it leads to positive well-being. We all want comfort, and we all want to offer kindness to one another. And that is something that we should also reflect within ourselves.
Yes.
So, an affirmation that you can say to yourself, and this is unique to everyone, is I am strong and trying my best, and that's what matters. And that should be something that you tell yourself on a daily basis, along with a unique affirmation to yourself, or however you want to give yourself compassion. But you are all strong, you are trying your best, you've channeled to online learning, you've managed to um, you're trying to manage your blended hats within your household, whether you be a student, a parent, um, a brother, a sister, an aunt,
Mhm.
an uncle. Everything is coming together,
Mhm.
and you are all strong. And that's what we want you to take out of that. Have self-compassion for yourself.
And in regards to that, just to piggyback off in regards to what Sarah's saying, it's just so important, scholars, that EOF, that you remember the following, that what a positive affirmation also incurs and means, just to have clarification on that, is pretty much affirming, right? The word to affirm, the word to, it means to pretty much agree to state a statement, right? So something positive, a positive statement that you're currently trying to reflect and believe. And for some, it may work, for others, it doesn't. But please keep in mind that affirming positive statements out loud, not only in your head and not only writing it out, is helpful. Okay. As I've spoken to many of the EOF scholars in WAVE, something I always promote in regards to my line of work, which is always having post-its around your mirror, post-its around your home, some type of affirmations, either, in your bathroom mirror. Have some type of positive affirmation around in your home, a statement, a word, a sentence, two sentences, however that may be. Self-compassion also leads into self-care. It also leads into self-love. It also leads into healing. And it's very important to keep those things in mind. With that being said, let's talk about it. Let's talk about redefining productivity. So, what it means to have self care for resilience. So, during this time of this pandemic, you, as Miss Sarah has already mentioned, yes, you are doing amazing. And yes, it can be hard, right? But at the same time, understand that you are human and it's okay to have your moments of ups and downs. This is life. Life was never meant to be easy. And sometimes we're taught through that through society, right? Whether we have Disney movies always trying to give us, the idea of that, life is going to be okay. Life will be easy. Or different stories and so forth of what we see in social media or in the media, right? We don't see the work that has to be done behind it. right? You are all here, as we've mentioned the last week or so during our group meetings, UF scholars, is that the mindset of why is the reason that you're here in college? What is your goal? Why are you here? What is the importance? What is your mission? Why are you currently trying to attain a goal? And it being a degree, correct? So with that being said, let's talk about productivity and how do you pretty much remain to your self-care and keeping that in line in regards to as your day goes about. So number one, establishing self-care habits. What are those habits? What can that look like? Well, number one, not only planning your day, but also making a routine, waking up at a certain period of time, making sure you put your alarm on, making sure that you wake up at that time. Because when we get back to a point in time that we are going to be back in person, you want to ensure that your sleep schedule and everything else, it is not disrupted. So you are not late to that class. You're not late to that meeting with me or Mr. Knight or Miss Sarah or with the office, right? Making sure that you are making breakfast for yourself, right? Or your family members, whoever is in the home with you, or if you're living on your own, making sure that you make your healthy breakfast. Make something that's really good, something that's going to keep you full, whether it's eggs and so forth. Have your coffee, have your tea. Make sure you have a glass of water before you're drinking that coffee or tea. That's very important as soon as you wake up. Making sure that you also are starting your day with an affirmation. As we just said, some of the affirmations that I always remind myself and I like to use all the time is that this too shall pass. Or as I've shared with you during our constant weekly meetings, is words from Morgan Harper Nicholas. Understanding that our strength, understanding this is not forever, this is not eternity, this is just for now. Correct? So making sure that you make your bed. Come on, scholars. Hello. You want to be successful. Well, one of the keys to success is making your bed, taking your shower, right? Brushing your teeth, doing your hair, put on a nice outfit. That is self-care. You know, I was just in a meeting with a scholar earlier before this webinar and also before our staff meeting. And one of my scholars was looking sharp. I was like, yes, that is what it's about. Doing things for yourself. That is self-care. You might not have never thought that was, but that is. Put a nice shade of lipstick on. Put those shoes on if you want, those nice pair of sneakers or that nice t-shirt, something to keep you going. That is your self-care. Focusing on the positive, right? Cleaning up your space. Making sure that you are staying organized in that way. Monotasking, right? That is something we're going to talk about in the next slide, but in the later slides. Monotasking, understanding that multitasking is great, but it is not productive. And we're going to speak about that furthermore. And understanding that we have to determine and set goals. Create a plan of action. I'm learning now as I've grown as a social worker and as a counselor and all the things that I do as well in regards to my own multiple careers and multiple streams of work, that I have to always plan ahead. If I'm only living in the here and now, that is great, but I have to plan ahead for certain things, right? In regards to, setting my calendar, setting up certain things, but that is to there, nothing else. But remembering to stay here and the now in regards to what you can control. But in regards to going ahead of the game of planning ahead, planning maybe an event ahead. Those are things that you can go ahead and do, all right? And even during a challenging time, there are opportunities for me to grow and create healthy habits. This is an affirmation. So I'm going to read it again, and I hope that you go ahead and repeat it as I'm speaking and pronouncing it and stating it out loud. So as we're going to say it, go ahead. Even during a challenging time, there are opportunities for me to grow and create healthy habits. Things to keep in mind, scholars. Next, meditation, right? Does anybody practice meditation? I hope you have. And I'm going to break down what meditation is. Meditation is a practice where an individual uses a technique such as mindfulness or focusing the mind on a particular object, thought, or activity to train attention and awareness. and achieve a mentally clear and emotionally calm and a stable state. So if many of you are not in a stable state, you may be home, you may be having lots of noise around you, maybe some neighbors upstairs, downstairs, across, or maybe people outside in the street, maybe you're hearing noise, your family members, the environments that you're in. I'm not sure if they're positive or toxic, but whichever those are, because I'm not going to assume, I want you to know that practicing mindful meditation is very important, okay? Understanding that you go ahead and practicing that, focusing on a particular object, thought, making sure that you sit down, you ground yourself. It is not, you don't have to start meditation like, meditation doesn't work like that. So I just want to get that skepticism, that false idea or myth about it. It's not about being pretty much in a state of like, it's not that. You're not gonna, it's just about clearing your mind. It's about getting you to a place where you need to be. All right. Meditation is very beneficial. It is something that I'm currently practicing, and I've practiced for a long time, but I've picked it up again in regards to making it a frequent daily routine of mine. And I'm currently practicing the 21 days of abundance, meaning gratitude and so forth. 21 days of abundance with Deepak Chopra. So if that's something you would like to know more about, you can definitely reach out to me and I will provide you that information. Meditation. Why is it important? Why is meditation important? Why is it something that we should practice? Maybe it's hard for you. Maybe you've tried meditation before, but you fell asleep. That's okay. It just means that you need to practice meditation during a time that you're fully awake. All right. Don't practice meditation if you're hungry or if you're full, you had a heavy meal. It's not a great idea to do that. Okay. Make sure you practice meditation during the time that you are able to be fully aware. Be fully aware. What is it to be aware? To be awoken, to be present, okay? This is very important. So meditation, why is it important for you? Meditation can help you manage anxiety, stress, depression, if you're dealing with all these things. Can meditation make a difference? Yes. More Americans are using meditation to cope with stress and anxiety than ever before. This is some information from Forbes list as well. Teachers are adding yoga and meditation to classrooms as well to help scholars deal with today's stressors. So the college is also offering this free, if you've seen what Natalia from the Tutoring Center, she is offering that at 7 a.m. in the mornings. Please go back to your emails. That is something that's available for you. If you don't want to do it here with the college, there's tons of information and apps or websites that I'm going to be sharing next in the next couple slides in this webinar, so that way you can access, okay? Meditation can also lead to an increase of happiness. If you are focusing on the here and now, or if you are focusing on gratitude meaning being grateful, being thankful for the things that you currently have now, because many individuals across this world, because I want to remind you, right now during COVID-19, everybody is experiencing the similar circumstances, if not all of it at once, okay? Whether you are in the United States, whether you are in Central America, you're in Honduras, Guatemala, you are in Mexico, you are in El Salvador, you're in South America, in Ecuador, in Brazil, in Chile, any part of South America. If you're in Asia, in Singapore, if you're in China, India, in Europe, okay, Paris, England, Italy, all of these countries, all right, no matter where you are, everybody is experiencing the same thing. And you have to remember to see the beauty of that, okay? There's beauty in this, that we are all experiencing this at the same moment in time, all right? Meditation, you can also include prayer. You don't have to be religious to practice meditation. But if you do believe in God, and depending on your religion and your practices, yes, you can incorporate it. Why not? That can be a part of your daily routine if you have not thought about that before. But again, you don't have to be religious to practice meditation or to meditate, okay? Meditation benefits are also immediate. You feel amazingly great. And if you don't feel that right away, that's okay. You may cry in between meditation. You may, feel happier after meditation. However that might look to you, it's okay. It's all right. It's okay to feel all these feelings at once. This is a point for you, but this is a way to cope positively. Okay. This is a way and form to help you to build that positive well-being, to build that resilience. So we're going to go into the next slide of different apps. Okay. So different apps for your phone or, to use online on your computer. So some mindfulness meditation, right? This is practicing on mindfulness. This is practicing on the mind. This is about clearing the mind in one state and just meditation overall. All right. If you are a parent or not a parent, or you have a family or don't, Headspace is an amazing free app available to you on iOS or Android. It is designed to help you train your mind, your body for a healthier, happier life. It helps you get most out of your day. It can be used anywhere. It's a free version app with meditation and exercises led by Headspace co-founder Andy, that will help teach you the essentials of meditation and mindfulness. Again, it's free on Android and or iOS. The next app, which is really amazing, and I've tried it before, and I really love it a lot because of the different wallpapers, music, and so forth. And if you're somebody like myself that usually has, either my, music playing at night, whether it's calming music, whether it's anything, any type of music that's gonna help me go to bed, it makes you calmer. Well, Calm also has it within their app. So it's pretty much, a truly life-changing app as described by a user, as per an article on Forbes. Calm is a perfect meditation app for beginners. So if you're a beginner and you are still trying to understand what mindfulness is, what meditation is, and you're a skeptic, you're like, I don't know, Miss T, I don't know, Sarah. This looks great, but I'm not really sure. Well, guess what? Calm is a great app to help you pretty much start as a beginner, all right? And with that being said, it has different options, different things, different meditation sessions. It helps you pretty much cover the basics of mindfulness. There's an app, like I said, a library in the app that has soothing nature sounds, scenes to help you leisure. It's a great feature to have. And it helps you also in regards to your sleeping patterns. And that's an option, which is called sleep stories, to help you, which is bedtime stories for adults. So yeah, you're an adult, you're allowed to have a bedtime story too. Who says that you grew up in that way, right? So you're allowed to have that. So again, this is free on Android and iOS, which is, Android for all those phones and iOS for Apple. Another app that's really great, as per Oprah in her magazine, Smiling Mind. Smiling Mind is an app that's featured with hundreds of meditations and short enough to keep you engaged without overwhelming you with choice. They're programmed and organized into structured programs. Mindful Foundations, which is 42 sessions. Sleep, which is 6 sessions. Relationships, 13 sessions. Workplace, 41 sessions. But you also have the flexibility to choose where you want to start to easily jump in between programs. Most meditations are 5 to 15 minutes range, with a few practices up to 45 minutes for advanced meditations. Again, it's free on Android and iOS. Something to keep in mind, all right? And remember, you can start off with a small meditation if it's very hard for you. If you experience, I want to say, depending on if you have any diagnosis of ADHD, which is, attention deficient disorder, or if it's just hard for you to stay in one place because you just, it's hard for you, that's okay. Just understand that you can start off small and increase. You don't have to start off big. Remember, starting in small steps. You are not required to start with a large meditation, mindful meditation, and having a long session of it. It's not a great idea, because then you're gonna fall asleep or you're gonna get lost, and we don't want that for you, okay? This is about helping you to cope better. Another app I love the Eternal Sunshine brand, okay? Let me just say, Eternal Sunshine is an amazing app. It's on Android and iOS. The CEO, which is a amazing African American individual, and his name is Londrell. He is also an artist. He started this app, and he is amazing. I love to support Latino and African American and women of color, men of color, artists or entrepreneurs in regards to their businesses. And this is an amazing app that is free. I get all the time daily messages on the app of either practices of gratitude, reminders, messages. It has music. I love the daily mantras that they give me. There's inspirational talks. There's morning mindfulness to start off your morning. There's books. They have different sounds. They have essential wisdom, and they also have guided meditation. Guided meditation is very helpful. Keep this in mind. Why? As I explained before with the 21 days of abundance with Deepak Chopra, it is an amazing, amazing meditation practice with guided meditation because of the fact that it's somebody who is guiding you on your journey as you meditate to help you and also bring you back. Oprah has always worked with Deepak Chopra. She has always mentioned it for many, many years. So please keep this in mind. It's an amazing app. And again, Londrell is the CEO of this app and program. Amazing, amazing, amazing. With that being said, we're going to go ahead and ask Miss Sarah. She's going to go ahead and introduce the ideas of monotasking instead of multitasking.
Hi, everyone. So as mentioned before, in building and redefining productivity, we want to encourage you all to try monotasking instead of multitasking. So we all know that when we're multitasking and we successfully complete a task, we feel very happy, right? And that really encourages the happy hormone, which is dopamine. Now, when you're working towards monotasking, this fulfilling this fulfilling success is also encouraged and can really help increase your productivity throughout the day. When you're multitasking, you are your probability of accomplishing a task is about 50%, right? And out of that 50%, you are increasing your chance for making mistakes. Now, everyone makes mistakes, everybody makes errors. That is perfectly fine. However, when you decide to monotask, you are taking one task and completing that within a period of time that you give yourself, whether that be 30 minutes, whether that be an hour. Now, I'm suggesting that when we think of tasks, right, I'm not necessarily saying, okay, I'm going to complete my paper today, right? We understand that we're in college, right? We're not writing summaries. We're writing 5 to 8 to 12 to possibly 20-page research papers or essays. And so you want to, and this is where self-compassion comes in, you really want to give yourself that time to complete a task one at a time, right? So if you're writing a paper, maybe today you're going to focus on the intro as well as the first research topic in answering your hypothesis or the background information. So you do that within an hour and you just completed a task. If you're doing your research paper, but then you're also doing your math homework 30 minutes later, and then you're also cooking dinner and making lunch and making your bed at all, if you get up and you're doing all these different things, your mind may not feel as if you're being successful throughout the day. Okay? There's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of adjustments that are going on. And so if you focus on one thing at a time, then that will be extremely beneficial. And that is what monotasking is all about. So if you're all looking at the bottom, monotasking, also known as single tasking, in the practice of dedicating one to a given task and minimizing the potential for interruptions until the task is complete. Monotasking contracts with multitasking, which is the ability to divide one's focus among multiple tasks. Now, if you can multitask, that is great, and that's a great skill. During these times, we suggest and recommend just monotasking. And once you get that task complete, move to the next. I have a habit, and this is something that I'm working on myself, where I'm doing one thing and then I'm also doing another. And so um, it can lead to those emotions of frustration and anxiety. So, use this opportunity to reflect, have self-compassion for yourself, and single task and do one thing at a time. When you move and you focus on one thing at a time, you take breaks in between the tasks and consider to use 25 to 50-minute periods, and then reward yourself with a 5 to 10-minute break. So as I mentioned before, try not to extend more than 50 minutes or an hour so that you can successfully complete that one task. And you can always move into your next project once you finish with the first task. Miss T, I don't know if you want to add anything.
Well, yes. I find that it's very important, and I'm really happy that we are discussing this today during this webinar, because you'll always see maybe online in the media or on different like social media platforms about like, multitasking is real, it's helpful. No, it's not. No, it's not. You will find yourself working on one project, then on another project, and then you're never finishing those projects because you're too busy working on multiple things at one time and never finishing. So if you are in this area, please keep in mind about monotasking instead. It's more helpful to you. It is beneficial to you. That way you will get things done. So let's put this into picture, right? Let's say you are in a chem class, right? My chemistry, my STEM majors, I know you guys are going through it. So let's say you're in chemistry or calculus, right? Or A&P1, anatomy, physiology 1 or 2, and you have multiple assignments to get done. Prioritize, okay? Prioritize in regards to the due date, in regards to what needs to get done, in regards to what is the most pressing assignment that needs to get done, then working on the following one that can come right after that can be done. Because if you're working on all assignments at once, it is not going to work out and it's not going to look pretty. Let's just say that, okay? So please keep this in mind. That's why for anatomy and physiology, for example, your lab and your lecture is separate. I know that may have changed recently with us on remotely, but it's still separate. And there's a reason for that, because of the fact that lab is one part of you need to focus. So that's monotasking, right? Monotasking, you're having lecture one day of the week and the other day is your lab. You're then focusing on something else. All right. This is something to put into picture for you so that way you can have a frame of mind of what that would look like. And reframe this idea of like having to be productive all the time of the day, right? Remember, if you just woke up and you made your bed, you took a shower, you ate something, that's being productive, okay? Understanding, like we're going to connect it right back to resiliency, self-care, and positive well-being. If you are working in a frame of spiraling, okay, and a frame of chaos, and a frame of multitasking, that is all connected, and that is going to provide you an increase of anxiety. You're going to feel more sad, more confused, more angry. So please, to eliminate those things instead of working yourself up, be mindful that doing small things is still being productive, okay? and then taking the days that you need for yourself, that is all being also being productive. You do not doing anything but just being yourself and just being, you know, I saw some names here on the chat, but being who you are and just not having to feel pressure to do anything else but just being yourself and not wearing the hat of a scholar, the hat of EOF, the hat of student government organization, the hat of a club, the hat of, a mother, the hat of a daughter, any of the hats, okay, of a son. You're just being yourself, and that is being productive too.
If I
Okay.
can
Yes.
interject also, I challenge all of you who are in this webinar to invite imperfection. Society may make us feel that we need to be perfect at all times,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
Mm-hmm.
instead of creating unrealistic perfectionist rules of how we must think, feel, act, or perform, we really must have self compassion for our imperfections. Okay. And this way, it will allow us to embrace life and learning new things. Okay. So, yes, monotasking and single tasking is a great technique to employ as you move in your college and professional journey, but also, invite imperfection within your day-to-day activities. So an affirmation that I will say, that I will go by, is I will aim to achieve my best, and I will love myself fully and completely in moments when I do not achieve all I intended.
Yes.
That relates to what Miss T was saying. When we make our bed, that is an accomplishment, and that is something that you completed. Okay? If you didn't finish your paper, that is fine. If you didn't cook dinner and you decided to order out, that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Understand that as long as we have our goals, as long as we had some task and started and completed what we started, then that is enough. But also have compassion for yourself.
Yes. Thank you, Sarah, because that's something that I know that as many of you who are Middle Eastern, who are Latinos, who are African Americans, who are mixed like myself, multiracial, who are Caucasian, different types of races and different types of backgrounds and different stories, right? And understanding that many of you are first generation, right? And you're carrying this whole backpack on your back that's invisible, right? On your shoulders, and it feels like boulders. And understand that it's okay. You're doing the best that you can. That's why we are meeting weekly and having this webinar right now, because we want to bring it back to you all. So we hope that you are still with us. We're going to continue on to the next slide. So tapping into your resources. Either we feel shy about asking for help or assume that we are bothering people. However, having connections with other people is a cornerstone of resilience. Asking for help is a sign of strength. I'm going to say that one more time, but louder, okay? So everybody, even in your living room or your kitchen, everybody in your family, can hear me right now. Asking for help is a sign of strength, okay? We must assess internal strengths and resources to determine how we can apply strengths. Understanding the following. If you make an appointment with me, scholars, or let's say whether Mr. Knight or myself is your counselor or vice versa, right? I am here for you. Please, if you're the type of person of praising everybody else and lifting everybody else, who is doing that for you? Who is allowing to pick you up? So let me be that resource for you, okay? Let me, as your counselor, praise you. Share with me. You don't have to feel like you're bothering me by emailing me. You're never bothering me. I want you all to remember that, okay? Because I noticed some emails from some of you like, oh, I'm sorry to bother you. No, why are you apologizing? Remember to take those things away. Stop apologizing for being who you are and what you need. So tap into your resources, tap into me, ask me, and then keep me accountable. If you notice that it's not moving as quick, well, why? Because, we are all working remotely from home, but also have patience, but also keep me keep me accountable. Say, Miss T, I just want to follow up with you X, Y, and Z. So asking for help, some of you are emailing me daily and letting me know how you're feeling. I love that. I love that. I am here for you as your counselor. Do not feel like anything else that you don't have to tap into this. And tapping into yourself, right? Tap into yourself. Understand you are your biggest fan. You are your biggest fan. You are your only competition, nobody else. All right. So find that within yourselves. All right. Asking for help from, also Miss Rosie, Miss Guadalupe, Miss Sarah, or Mr. Knight, that is fine, but also tapping into your counselors for other things that we can provide to you. Okay. And with that being said, using the following affirmation, I'm capable of gathering the needed resources. Remind yourself that you're capable of doing that. And also remind yourself and affirm, I can leverage my strengths to overcome challenges in front of me. I can leverage, okay, the meaning, pick up my strengths to overcome challenges in front of me. So remember to tap into your strength. You don't know what your strengths are? Well, start looking into that. Tap into it. Don't feel shy. Don't feel ashamed. There's nothing to feel ashamed of. There's nothing to apologize for. There's nothing to feel shy about. We're all in this together. Sarah, if you would like to add anything.
Definitely, what you had said, Miss T, we can be afraid of rejection, or sometimes we feel too proud to ask for help. But we encourage you to do it anyway. Even if you don't find what you need the first try, try again. At Hudson and EOF, we have the support from your counselors, the front staff, but look at tutoring. Look at CAS for if you need additional mental health counseling. Look at all these resources that are available to you all virtually. And, as we move through the semester and into the next semester, things may change. But again, challenge those. Challenges lead to opportunities. And so, just don't be afraid to ask for help. This is a cornerstone of resilience. And that you have resources available. So take a look at who is in your circle, whether that be from school, whether that be your place of worship, whether that be your circle of friends, whether that be your neighbor. Look at your support that's there. Everybody is coming together during these times. And this is, even though we are, within this crisis, there, the way the communities are coming together is really beautiful. And it's really heartwarming to see everyone connect with one another. So definitely, again, tap into your resources, because you never know. Maybe the person that you want to ask, you didn't think that they were going to say yes, and they ended up saying yes, that they're able to assist you. So, you know, give yourself those affirmations, and know the resources. And again, it doesn't necessarily have to be at Hudson. Look at your other environmental, you know, uh, your spaces around you.
Yes, and local organizations that can also help. And we can also provide that. Guadalupe has already put that on our social media in regards to any resources also in the community. And understanding that, as Sarah was just explaining about having pride, let's just say, ladies and gentlemen, we already know what that looks like, right? And understanding that in depending on certain communities and backgrounds, that is something that is always hard to ask for. So understand that there's nothing wrong going into therapy. There's nothing wrong to have that extra help or extra counseling. There's nothing wrong with having somebody to it could just be somebody just to listen, or a mentor, well, however that looks like, okay, for you. There's nothing wrong for that. There's nothing wrong about it. And you don't have to feel ashamed. Let it be that 2020 is a year of feeling unashamed and being unapologetic. All right.
Thinking thankfully is really important, for internal and external resources. So whoever's in your circle at home and also outside, as Miss T said, because understanding and expressing gratitude on a regular basis provides you with that life of abundance and that resiliency and building on those skills.
Mm-hmm. 1 trillion%. And understanding that you need to also make time to have your weekends, if you can, for yourself, scholars, and see if you can, definitely have like a little party, have fun. You know what I mean? Okay, yes, you're in college. Yes, you are studying. All right. So you also have to have your social life. Your social life does not stop because of COVID-19. All right. Your goals does not stop because of COVID-19. Your degree does not stop. Love does not stop. Happiness does not stop. Gratitude does not stop. Smiling does not stop. Okay. None of those things stop. All right. You got to keep going and tapping into your gang of friends, your support systems, and understanding to make time for that time as well. Speaking to friends that you haven't maybe spoken to a long time, speaking to them, connecting with them, networking still with other organizations through your LinkedIn, through other webinars, and tapping into that because it's important and making that time. So very important. And we want to both say to you, as Thomas the Train
I
said,
know I can, I know I can, I know
no,
I
I can.
so
But that
yes.
concludes our presentation for today. We want to thank you so much, scholars. We are going to go ahead and